Quarterback of the league. Oh, what a catch by Jay Nathaniel. That touchdown, Hurricanes.
Junior take a shot deep. Open target. Her third from left to right. Sets up. Oh,
down.
Watch him. He's going to set up. He's going to go for the. It fell from the sky into air.
Three down and one showcase game to go. It's time for the East and the West freshmen to step up and put the league on notice. Welcome to Conway, South Carolina, everyone. Nate Murphy here alongside me, Mike Peters. And we've seen a little bit of everything in the first three games, and this one should deliver some more excitement, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a bunch of craziness. We had Army taking out Navy, and then we had the big comeback by the West, and then we had a dominant performance in the last game by the South. What are we going to get here? I have no idea. So you got to stick around the whole game and find out.
It should be interesting to see just what we do get out of this final all-star game of the week. And West with the ball first. They're going to go up the middle. Ronnie De La Rocha, 1 yard carry to start things out.
It is the last all-star game of the week. It's the last game until January 2nd when we kick off season 16. It's exciting.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get things kicked off. Michigan and Florida State January 2nd will start things out. And De La Rocha stopped in the backfield again. Robert Green getting his first tackle.
Robert Green getting in there, making the tackle. The Texas signee, Texas coming into the East and grabbing a player. We talked about that a little bit last game. 8 teams came from the West over and grabbed players out of the East, and Robert Green being one of them.
Yeah, Debo Banks going to get his first catch of the night. Good for 3, but they needed a lot more than that as Del Toro completes his first pass, but it'll be 4th and 9.
Voodoo with the 200-bit cheer. We appreciate you. Interesting of note on the other side. On the West side, only 6 teams that are considered the Western side of the U.S. signed players out of the West. All the rest of the players were signed by Eastern teams.
Wow, so Not doing a great job of getting their homegrown talent, it
No.
sounds like, on the West Coast side. So we'll see how that works out for them. And their defense out there now, and the East takes over 1st and 10. They're going to hand it off to Bodie Dale, and he's going to lose 3. James Beal on the tackle.
Bodie Dale out of Prater, Virginia, signing with Notre Dame, going to be their big feature halfback. Got the shoes to fill, taking over for Dwayne Salmons.
A CFSL legend departing Notre Dame, and Bodie Dale, as you mentioned, trying to step in, fill some of those shoes. Right now, Topher Foreman looking to find his first completion. He had to throw that one away.
Well, and we saw Topher Foreman in last night's game getting some action as the starting quarterback. Big game for him, 42 of 51, 562 yards, 5 touches. He's out there again tonight.
And he starts 0 for 2 in this one, and he's one of 2 Boise State quarterbacks, I believe, in this game. I believe the other one is here playing in a different position.
It's possible.
Or maybe he was in our last game. I know I wrote his name somewhere. Maybe he was on the last group of freshmen.
Well, they played against each other last night in the Army-Navy game.
Yeah, it went over Foreman's way for sure. We'll see now if Del Toro can get things rolling for the West, as both teams punting on their first possession. This one in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, looking for Chris Bryant.
So interesting of note, we have 2 MAC quarterbacks are 2 of the 4 quarterbacks. Del Toro committed to Ohio, comes out of Texas, but we had a Toledo quarterback and an Ohio quarterback in these 2 games. Interesting considering all the talent that the Power 2 teams scoop up.
Now, the MAC did a pretty good job this season coming out and getting a lot of talent, a lot of the elite depth. I believe 9 apiece for Bowling Green and Eastern Michigan. Here we've seen Toledo and Ohio's quarterbacks, but Del Toro gets hammered on this one. Milo Pinesaw, and we've heard the Pinesaw name before, and now we've got a defender wreaking havoc.
Pinesaw out of Litchfield, Kentucky. Hopefully I'm saying that. Not going to follow in Scott's footsteps and go to either Oregon or Kentucky. He's actually going to, leave Kentucky, and he heads to Boise State, where he'll be playing linebacker.
They made a big play there, and it's our 3rd punt in 3 drives. So not a lot of offense early on. Rick Kuhn there, a 7-yard return. East set up in good field position around midfield.
And Smitty keeping me on my toes as I didn't pay out the prediction for the last game, but there it goes. So now you guys can see your virtual Twitch bucket.
And there goes Dale breaking some tackles, and now it's a foot race, and they will drag him down. But Bodie Dale, 31 yards on only his 2nd carry of the night, and that was a big one there.
Well, Bodie Dale off to an early start, talking about replacing Dwayne Salmons. Well, if you're going to come out and shot in a game like this and just start churning out yards, I think the people in Notre Dame are going to feel pretty good about that.
And running through a couple of defenders, very Salmon-esque, and so that is exactly what Wookie wants to see from his new feature back. And they're actually going to bring him in motion, fake the screen to him, and then they will dump it off to him. A lot of open space, but a good open field tackle that time.
I like that play, and we saw some struggles in the last game with the freshman quarterback Albert a little bit. This time, some poise out there. They look to throw it to the right. They pump fake it, try to find something open downfield. It doesn't work, so they go back to him. They take the easy check down, don't force anything. Nice little pickup. Of course, Foreman's already played a game, so he's got a little bit of experience under his belt.
I was just going to mention that. I wonder how much playing last night actually is going to help him. And Bodie Dale couldn't get free this time. Picks up only a yard. It'll be 3rd and 5.
At what age do they stop playing multiple games in back-to-back days in football?
I would assume nowadays it's pretty early, considering the safety ramifications that could be. But Topher Foreman, he's going to take some shots in this one. And Keeler.
Anthony Keeler.
We talked about this before the game, and I still screwed it up. Anthony Keeler with his first sack of the night.
Well, and Texas scooped up Keeler. They were one of the few to go to the West and get a player, although he's from Louisiana, so it's kind of questionable whether he's really a Western player.
Yeah, I guess where do we draw the line there? But he is on the West roster, so So we're going to count them as West, and East going to put the first points on the board. The field goal up and good. So Topher Foreman leads the East downfield and puts some points on the board finally.
Well, the one thing about Louisiana in this league is that they can pretty much fit in anywhere but the North, because they've been in 3 different conferences when LSU was here. So it's like Louisiana just kind of goes wherever we need them.
Yeah, I mean that's about right for Louisiana, I think. And so now we've got the West coming back out on offense, and you can see early on this East defense flying all over the field, making plays. But the West with some pretty decent field position at about the 36-yard line. Notice that the numbers, someone here in Conway didn't put the numbers on the field, so I'll be guessing all night, and that one falls incomplete.
Jesus, our grounds crew is we need a new grounds crew, because they put the wrong end zones in the field on the last game. They didn't put the numbers on the field in this game. I don't know what's going on with these guys.
And Del Toro on the option there did a good job holding on to that one. Looked like they had some room on the outside, but a good job playing that from the outside in was the defense not allowing them to get the pitch off.
I don't know if not having the numbers is helping or hurting them. It seems like it might be hurting them, as we got a 3rd and 6. They are 0 for 2. Keep an eye on Kirby Sierra, the middle linebacker, number 21. I hear he's pretty good.
And always with a shameless plug. We love that in the CFSL. And Mo Black makes a play on 3rd and 6. And so now 0 for 3 are the West offense trying to convert on 3rd down.
Mo Black, a Maryland native, signing with Oregon. So Oregon going into the East Coast and pulling a player back to Eugene.
He's going coast to coast on that one. That's a long trip home for winter break, but he'll fit in well with that Oregon defense. And there you see the East balanced on their first 7 plays, 4 runs, 3 passes, and the 20 yards. A lot of that coming from Bodie Dale on the one big run.
That coast-to-coast flight, not the most enjoyable, I'll be honest. I've flown from Atlanta to San Diego before, and don't like it.
And you're going to need a lot of leg room if you're making that flight. This one popped up in the air and picked off. That is an outstanding play that time by the West defense, and the first turnover of the game goes their way, and that's Kelvin Diggs with the big play.
Kelvin Diggs out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He likes to gamble, and he comes up big there with his first pick in the CFSL. A little tip drill, and comes down with a big play there for the West.
And great job there. Great concentration. And not a terrible throw. You throw that 50-50 ball a lot in this league, and more often than not, your guy comes down with it. Not this time, though, as Diggs with the big play. And now the West back to work as Toro can't get it going. It doesn't matter if he's trying to run it or throw it. He's not finding anything. Justice Hall with the tackle there.
Well, a lot of players on this East defense. We talked about Sierra. We got Pinesaw, Stephen Lee, Malachi Conway, a bunch of elite linebackers on this defense.
Seemingly a lot of speed running all over the field. They've just been everywhere that the West offense is trying to get to. This one a misfire, incomplete, and it's another 3rd down for West.
Well, also you got to keep in mind on the East, they got 3 elite corners and 2 elite safeties. So talent all over this defense. So it's going to be hard to move the ball for the West.
And we've seen that so far. There's another big play. That ball batted in the air, and Del Toro lucky that one falls incomplete. He started this ball game 1 for 7, and the West 4 punts in a row here on 4 possessions.
I think that was Colt Lawrence, the Oregon commit, that got in there to swat that one away.
Coming off the edge, knew he wasn't going to get home, and did a great job getting his hands up. And Rick Kuhn knocked down after a 5-yard return. And there you see the defense is not playing poorly. West just picked off a ball East, the big pass break up there. Neither offense right now being very successful.
Jules says that Foreman can only pass against the Navy. Well, these teams are considerably deeper than the Army and Navy teams, so definitely going to be tougher for Foreman in this game.
And Foreman not throwing it here. He's going to tuck it and run design quarterback run, and he's got 6 yards on that one.
Voodoo saying he thinks that's the first time we've seen a ball batted like that. Not the first time. We've seen a few, but not that often. And that pick by GSP was one of the more unique ones we've seen.
So a couple of big plays here early on, some unique things that don't happen a lot. Sacks do tend to happen a lot, and Michael Sand has one there.
Sands coming up with a big play, just powering his way right after the quarterback. Sands out of Valiant, Oklahoma. Sounds like a sus name. Going to Eastern Michigan, the elite defensive end.
So big pickup there for another one of those MAC schools. And there's a big play there. And Topher Foreman says, forget about throwing it against the Navy. I can throw it against the West All-Stars too. He hits Phillip Allen right down the seam, and it's an easy touchdown.
Well, Terrell Allen was a giant quarterback. Phillip Allen, yes, they're related. He's a skinny, fast wide receiver. Got to like the difference in those genetics. Allen's going to be playing for Oregon, and you see they're going to like his speed out there.
Absolutely. He just outran everybody in that West secondary. I don't know if it was a blown coverage or just pure speed from Allen, but he's wide open, and now West, they got to find something. Mike Del Toro, 1 of 7 to start the ball game, 0 of 4 on third down. West would probably just take a first down on this drive.
Well, the unfortunate part with West is they were a little light in the talent department. They've got 3 tight ends that are really quarterbacks, and they only have 1 elite wide receiver. Now, they got a couple elite halfbacks, and if they can get them going, maybe running some triple option, some read option for sure, but it's going to be tough for them to move the ball against this defense. They're going to have to be really smart with the football.
Now, we've seen De La Rocha here early on a couple times. There he goes again, and this time his best carry, 9 yards. Also in the backfield, Tank Lionheart committed to Ohio, so Del Toro's teammate when week 3 rolls around.
Oh, Del Toro. Yeah, I was looking at De La Roca. I got thrown off as that one is incomplete. De La Roca committed to Florida State from Pasadena, California. So another coast-to-coast spring break. A lot of guys racking up some frequent flyer miles on those spring break vacations home.
I just hope they're not flying Spirit. That's my only hope for them. They're going to need some legroom. These are some big boys out there. And so there's a first down, a third down conversion. Chris Bryant hangs on to this one, gets 7 yards, and moves the chains for the first time for the West squad.
Chris Bryant, another Florida State guy, a couple of Florida State guys coming out of the West, and we've seen them on the back-to-back plays, De La Roca and Bryant along with Debo Banks.
And there goes De La Roca again, but he cannot shake free. Good job by that East defense, and this time it's McCrary, I should say. There's another R in there that I can't read, and it's a loss of 1.
McCrary out of Georgia going to Pitt. So this 2 game is these 2 teams feature a lot of guys that were like, you know what? I don't want to play close to home. I want to go somewhere else, experience some different flavor.
Yeah, and that's always a good thing. You get people going all over the place, seeing some new things. Who knows what happens once their career ends? Maybe they find a new home. And De La Roca trying to find some running room, can't do it there.
Well, Coach King Misfit, a.k.a. Shady, used to be Shady. I think everybody probably knows him as King Misfit now. But he's having a hard time trying to figure out some things that are going to work against this East defense.
Now going to go back to the passing attack on 3rd and 9. Cutting it upfield is Debo Banks, and they mark him out just short of the first down marker.
And I didn't like that play. I thought he got the first down. I don't like that they're not going to even look at it. Another thing with this West offense, we got 6 guys playing out of position as that punt goes through the back of the end zone. Debo Banks is an outside linebacker playing wide receiver. We got a couple of corners playing wide receiver, Andrew Stevens, Chris Bryant, and then we got 3 quarterbacks who are playing tight end in this game, Brantley Gauchi, Kyson Carey, and Terry Olive. So they're going to have to get creative on offense as the West.
Yeah, and right now their defense playing pretty big. Kelvin Diggs comes up, make a tackle in the backfield. So minus the broken coverage, the West defense has played pretty strong early on.
Beat It talks about the other team, the East, who has Ludwig Freeman, a quarterback, playing safety. So a lot of guys playing out of position. We've got a lot of quarterbacks. We were a little short in the depth department. Which is interesting, considering how deep this recruiting class was. It seems like they were all in the North and South.
Yeah, huge recruiting class, and I guess that's the thing. When you've only got 4 quarterbacks that can play in a game or start in a game, you got to get creative with the other ones. So they're going to play all over the place. And Dale gets a good block and is sprung down the sideline for 26 yards on that catch and run out of the backfield.
Well, I know it's only the first quarter, and we've only seen them touch the ball 4 or 5 times, but I do believe that Notre Dame has indeed found their next running back.
I would tend to agree with that. A big guy wearing that neck roll, so you know he's going to be looking for some thing like
We're having a little bit of trouble. It sounds like Nate's.
Dale.
There is he coming back? Nate, are you back? As Baker Thomas picks up two.
I think
you're
I'm
cutting
coming
out
back.
For a second.
I have no idea what just happened there.
I think the government was testing your DNA there. That's probably what happened.
Well, yeah, you guys missed that conversation pregame, but yeah, don't let your DNA wind up in a mountain cave anywhere. Bodie Dale losing 2 yards. That sets up a 3rd and 10.
Anthony Keeler coming up with another tackle. So now we're going to see Christopher Foreman, who, again, showed out last night in the Army-Navy game. Can he pick up this big 3rd and 10? 2 for 4 on 3rd down so far.
So 3rd and 10, 3 wide receivers set. Foreman, plenty of time, goes underneath, complete, and all kinds of running room for James Braxton. He gets 14 and easily picks up the 1st down.
Another out-of-position guy, James Braxton, signed with Bowling Green as a strong safety, but he played halfback in high school, and we got him playing halfback in this one. Wide open on that 3rd and 10.
Yeah, nobody followed him out of the backfield. A mistake by that West defense. And now they go right back to the ground game. It's Braxton again, and he's got 6 yards on the ground.
Well, one thing I do like to see, the East doing a much better job than the North and South of getting their backup running back playing.
Yeah, already seen Braxton more often than either of the other 2 backups, and that is the end of the 1st quarter. East up 10-0 here in Conway, South Carolina. Come back for the 2nd quarter. You're watching the CFSL presented by PX1 Sports right here on Twitch. And welcome back as East driving once again, looking to put some more points on the board. Little read option look, and there goes Foreman, and he takes a big hit but picks up 10 yards and a 1st down.
Well, that's his first positive gain. Picks up 10, gets the 1st down. They're down to the 20-yard line now, right at the edge of the red zone.
And so now 1st and 10, 3 receivers set, going back to the read option look. Right up the gut goes Foreman, and another 10 yards. It's now 1st and goal for the East.
Well, I know there was some question about whether Carey, is it Carey, right? It's, yeah, Kyson Carey.
Yep.
And Topher Foreman, who was going to start at Boise, but I think Foreman, judging on his early play in the All-Star games, is getting the nod week 1.
And this time, Dale going to lose some yardage. And yeah, absolutely. Kyson Carey last night played big for Navy. Foreman out-dueled him. And it is Carey that is playing tight end over here for the West squad. Is also in this game. So I knew I wasn't crazy. I finally found him on my roster. Big roster is hard to poke through sometimes, and Foreman throws this one away.
Well, especially when there's so many guys playing out of position. Just on the West alone, we've got 9 guys that are playing a different position than what they signed to play.
And so a little bit crazy, but a chance to show your skill. And Baker Thomas shows some skill there, tapping the toes in the end zone for an East touchdown.
I was trying to find, I can't even find him. Oh, there he is. I was like, where is he on my sheet? Baker Thomas, another guy out of position. He signed to be the quarterback at Auburn, and he's playing wide receiver, catch and touchdowns. We had Avery Ware with a pick 6, the quarterback at Texas in the first game. Now we got the quarterback at Auburn with a touchdown reception in this game.
Well, I mean, that just shows you the talent that we've got around the league. They can move around positions, limited practice, run routes, and make catches and make plays in the secondary as well. So a lot of athletic quarterbacks. Watch out, CFSL, for these athletic guys coming at your defenses here when week 1 rolls around on January 2nd. And Tank Lionheart, there's the backup running back here for West. He gets in early on, catches the ball, and then gets hammered.
Well, we talked about it. Tank Lionheart getting some carries in. So these 2 coaches figured out how to get their backups in. But unfortunately for the West, they're probably going to have to steer away from the running backs a little bit, down 17, although those are probably the 2 best guys on their offense.
Got to find ways maybe to get it to them in some more space. Go away from screen plays. A little quarterback read here trying to get Del Toro running downhill. He gets 4. It'll be 3rd and 5.
And what is it with all these quarterbacks wearing number 4 now? Foreman and Toro both wearing 4. Are they trying to be Jim Carr? What's going on here?
I mean, I guess if you're going to try and emulate someone and inflate someone's ego, it might as well be Jim Carr, right?
He was number 4, wasn't he? Am I remembering that correctly?
I think you're right.
Somebody will call me out. Yeah, it was 4.
I was saying, and if you're wrong, someone will easily call you out.
Yeah, well, yeah, I confirm. I thought I was right on that, but as you grow after 40, the memory starts to get a little more cloudy.
It doesn't always take until 40, Mike. I'm almost there, but my memory is still pretty shot. East getting the football back. Ricky Kuhn getting a small return there, but again, great field position here for the East.
Well, the West has got to come up with something big on defense. Got to look at some of those linebackers, maybe Jamison Weinrich, to come up and make a play.
And now look at all that time for Foreman to throw. Finally runs out on him as Robbie Legg drags him down. A big play early on in this drive for the West defense.
Well, that's what they need. They need sacks. They need some turnovers. Although this was just really good coverage downfield. Foreman had nowhere to go with it and creates time there for Robbie Legg, the Oklahoma State commit, to seal off and get the sack.
Yeah, maybe showing a little bit of too much hesitancy to try and turn the corner and run with that one. Looked like he had some room to work. The sack creates a second and long. 2nd and 16 coming up, 2-by-2 set. Now they're going to go back to Dale and all kinds of room up the middle. He was about 10 yards downfield before anybody touched him. Falls forward for 11.
Who is have fun writing this, Jules? They're very active in chat, but I don't know who it is.
I think it was Frank. I thought he said it was Frank.
Oh, it is? Well, he's definitely not going to win Fan of the Year with a stupid name like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's already 0 for 4, so we might as well go ahead and make him 0 for 5.
Well, I mean, you're not even in the conversation if you did not even try it. There's not an 0 for 5 if you don't get nominated.
I mean, that's fair. So come on, Frank, you're going to have to pick up your game a little bit. And Dale doing his best to pick up his game. Another 10 yards for him. 9 carries, 44 yards already in the first half.
So usually your first season on the ballot is your best chance. And we saw Frank, he had 2 different names in chat. He thinks that might have cost him in his first season. But we saw Cyrock a couple of seasons win one, and he's been around for a little bit. So Frank, I'd maybe stop playing the victim and go back out to what you're doing season 1. Just balls to the wall. Just keep fighting, man, and eventually you'll get it. Eventually it'll come.
Never give up. That's what we've been taught.
Or it won't, and at least you can die knowing that you gave it your all.
There you go. There's always that option when you're going to look at it half empty, I guess. And Foreman going to take off and nearly split the defense for a touchdown there. 17 yards and another first down.
Well, if he can play like he did last night for Army, maybe he can win Offensive Player of the Year, so at least he gets a trophy. Although, based on his luck, they'll vote against him.
No, I mean, people might vote against him just because it's Frank, which may not be fair. If
I feel like he's actually putting an X on his back by talking about it so much. He's encouraging people not to vote for him. Big touchdown.
It makes it fun not to vote for him. It's also fun to watch Topher Foreman run around this defense, find the end zone again, and East an early 24-0 lead.
Yeah, the East is out and running, and behind Topher Foreman, we talk about Bodie Dale helping it out. They're just overpowering this West team, which when you look at it on paper, there's lots of elites on this West defense, but they're a little weak at some very key spots, and right now that is playing into this game so far.
East kind of taking advantage, and I don't know if you want to take this one, Mike. Roast a viewer or anybody from Michigan, that's from Wake and Blake. He says hashtag go Knowles.
I mean, we'll go ahead and do this, but the whole point of roast a viewer is to roast a viewer. You got to pick somebody out. Don't just like last time, it was just pick anybody, and now it's just like, pick somebody from Michigan, and like, give me somebody specific, and then I'll attack them. But this whole just pick something off of a page, I don't know if I'm feeling this.
I mean, I'm not good enough at that stuff to begin with, and now you're going to make me think about it even more. I got to go through my roster and see who's on Michigan's team over here.
Well, he wants us to roast Ike, which I feel like is almost too easy considering he was on a boat taking vacation during recruiting. But for him, fortunately, it worked out okay, and they still landed a pretty good recruiting class. But who is so cocky that they go on a vacation to start recruiting, and then come back and try to dig themselves out of the hole? Like, I don't know if that is really ballsy or really dumb.
Can it be both? I mean, you take off, you're gonna not recruit, or try and recruit from a boat, and of course, I guess you guys punished him a little bit. He gets to take on Tom in Florida State week 1, so there you go. That's your reward for recruiting from a boat.
Well, we'll see how that one turns out. Student versus teacher. Ike spent 4 seasons learning under Tom at Florida State. Can he knock him off in week 1?
And Wes looking for a shot there, and I'm not sure who that was intended for. He was throwing it to the mascot in the back of the end zone.
Well, Del Toro is from Waco, Texas, and I think he was trying to send that one back to Waco.
Well, he almost got it there. That was a pretty good shot. Now they're going to go ground attack here on 3rd and 6. De La Rocha on the draw play, losing a yard. Going to bring up another 4th down. Robert Green, his 2nd tackle for loss.
Yeah, just not enough talent, it seems like, on this West offense, at least for the way that they're trying to utilize it. And the East is feasting, not trying to create a pun there, but it fit.
And right now, yeah, West just has no answers right now. We'll see if their defense can step up. And there you see Foreman doing the job. 177 total yards, the rest of his team 50. And I'm going to say most of that is Brody Dale toting the rock. But back out on offense now, an offset I formation for Foreman and the offense.
Well, they're toying with them, running a pro-style set here.
Yeah, I mean, well, and it didn't work. As most of the time it hadn't until, of course, Florida State took over the pro-style books and have had a lot of success with it. And there's a big play from the West defense to start things out.
Well, that's Keeler again, the Texas guy from Louisiana, and comes up with another big play there. So he's making a statement. He needs some guys on defense to jump up there with him and start making some plays. We need Leroy Wright or Jamison Weinrich or James Beal. One of these guys to come up and make a big play here for the West.
And Dale can't get anything going there. Slowed down a little bit on that play, gets a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 13, and East 5 of 7 early on 3rd downs.
Well, the West defense doing their job here. Can they get him off the field?
So 3rd and long. They will throw for it. No screens here, and they're going to take a shot for everything. 2 guys in the same spot wide open, and luckily for the East, one of them does come down with it. That is a huge play there. Phillip Allen, his 2nd catch of the night.
I hate to tell AMK, but A, you don't give your own nicknames here in this league, and B, somebody's already got that nickname. But on back to the game, that was an interesting concept. If you're going to pick up a 1st down, throw it to somebody and have a lead blocker running right beside him when he catches it.
Now, I'm not sure that's how they drew it up, but it did work. And so East continuing to move the football. And they're going to throw it again, and it's caught again inside the 10. 1st and goal. Phillip Allen back-to-back big plays.
The East looking very dominant here as they're continuing to move the ball. They converted the big 3rd down. Now they're pushing themselves inside the 10, and the West going to need to do something quick here.
Yeah, they're going to need to force a turnover here. They can't give up. I mean, forget a touchdown. If they give up points here, they're starting to really dig themselves a hole, and I'm not sure that they're going to be able to climb out of. So this defense would love to come up with a big turnover. Not going to happen. There goes Foreman. He's going to walk it into the end zone from 7 yards out.
Big play there and just running. Look at that space. Nobody in the vicinity. And Topher Foreman getting another touchdown. 5 plays, 7 yards, just flying down the field.
And man coverage there. Everybody turned their back. And this East offense now clicking on all cylinders. We saw South in the last game. We saw Army, who was led by Topher Foreman last night, with these kind of offensive performances. Now can we see West kind of turn it on and at least get something going?
Shout out to Waken Blake, by the way. He cheered 71 bits before. and then just threw out 24 out there. So we appreciate that.
And so now West again looking for pass. They're taking a shot, and why not? And 50-50 ball nearly intercepted by Mo Black.
Mo Black gets his hands on it, but that's why he's playing defense. Couldn't haul it in. Big opportunity there for the East defense, and they weren't able to haul it down with the turnover.
So now 2nd down and 10. Time for Del Toro, and he throws this one to the sideline, caught by Debo Banks, but turned the wrong way, goes out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and 7.
And somebody said, will the West even be able to score? We have never had a shutout in an all-star game. And in fact, in the Newcomer game, the fewest points ever scored by one team in the Newcomer game was 13. And that goes back to the North in season 11 scored only 13. So we'll see if the West can at least get to that number.
And the way they're going, I'm not sure they're going to get there. Another big play there, and a sack and another punt coming up for the West offense.
Yeah, just a lot of misplaced talent. We talked about the fact that they have 6 guys playing out of position on the offense. Of course, only a couple of them are starters, but still the depth and just this defense, the spots that the East has their talent is in all spots that the West is a little short. And it's showing here on the field. Unfortunately, we hope that things come out even, and we got even matchups on both sides, but for some reason the talent coming out of the West this year was just a little light, and they're having trouble making it up in this game.
And so now the East back to work, and there's Topher Foreman wide open, and laying out is Baker Thomas. So the quarterback playing out of position, showing he can make some athletic catches out there as well.
Well, he caught a touchdown, and now he dives to come up with a patch. Yeah, he can play safety too, so Baker Thomas a little bit of doing it all.
And wide open, Phillip Allen, his 2nd touchdown of the night, and the East made quick work of that drive.
Well, at this point, you got to wonder if the East will just put in the backups for the second half because the guys they got in there right now, I think they're all ball players.
Yeah, they've made that pretty clear that they can play some ball. We'll see if we start seeing some of these other guys like James Braxton, James Stanton, backup running backs, some of these other receivers that haven't touched the ball yet. But I mean, what we've seen so far from this East squad, they're going to be hard to stop when the season rolls around. And a good return there by Joshua Sims, 21 yards before he's hammered down. So the West out there one more time, trying to get something going with 1:45 to go here in the first half.
Well, they got to get something going. They don't have a lot of time, and there's a lot of talent on that East defense in the secondary. So you really got to be patient. You got to find your holes just like that.
Now, a nice little corner route there. Debo Banks finds one of those holes, his 4th catch of the night. So he's having a good showing here in the first half, even though the West offense not doing a whole lot.
Debo Banks, again, signed to play outside linebacker at Florida State, but showing he's very swift and can get out there and run routes and make catches. So it's going to be interesting to watch him as a linebacker this season in Tallahassee.
Yeah, that's all that defense needs is someone else with speed and hands, because they're not good enough already. And there they go again, making another play. This time it's Malik Saint, 19 yards, and the West offense starting to find a little something.
Well, now they're starting to spread the ball around a little bit too, and the more that the defense can't figure out where you're going with the ball, the better chance you got. I know it sounds simple, but a lot of times teams lock onto a couple players. Here he's spreading the ball around, and now it's making the defense just a little bit slower and reacting to where they think the ball is going to be.
So now 4 receivers, including 3 on the bottom, and that's where they're going. And this one in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Looked like a big play to be made. It was Chris Bryant, couldn't hold on to it.
Well, Chris Bryant's a cornerback, but he's playing wide receiver, and you see why he's playing cornerback or why he's signed as a corner. The hand's just not that good.
And now screen play on 2nd down and 10. Got a lot of room to work. And this time it's a big pickup for De La Rocha, 13 yards and a first down. I believe he gets out of bounds to stop the clock as well.
Well, that's big if they want to score here. Being down 38-0, you'd love to get some points on the board here, get a little momentum going in the second half, and maybe, hey, make a crazy comeback that nobody saw coming.
And they're going to throw it again, and this one misfired. Del Toro a little bit too far in front of his intended receiver.
Norman, you unfortunately cannot turn channel points in the upgrades. I actually had something all mapped out where we're going to do that, and then I found out that it's against Twitch's rules, so we couldn't actually do that. So the Twitch channel points are just for free things that we're not selling, like the t-shirts and hats, custom archetypes, stuff like that.
So a little bit unfortunate. We all wish we could use some of those channel points to upgrade our guys, but the merch you get from the Twitch points, also high quality stuff. So make sure you jump on that when you get the opportunity. Debo Banks was jumped on by a herd of East defenders, but the West gonna take a shot at a long field goal here.
And if my math is accurate here, this looks like it's going to be a 40-yard field goal.
Yeah, this should.
I'm just guessing based on not having any numbers on the field.
Well, based on that X should be the 35 where they kick it off. So I believe you're right. This will be from the 30, making it a 40-yard field goal. And they are going to bleed as much of this first half clock away as they can before they snap this ball.
Hey, listen. Sorry to interrupt you there. Ask where the numbers at. Look, we had to cut some costs when we moved Frosty down here. So unfortunately, it came at the expense of the grounds crew.
I think grounds crew is gonna have to find some new work, at least for the All-Star week. Frosty's move did cut into the budget a little bit. Everybody's got to make sacrifices here. So the East going to get one more shot here. 23 seconds to go. Going to start from the 25, and we'll see if they can make a couple big plays. They have hit some big chunk plays to some of their big-time receivers. We'll see if they got one more in them here in the first half.
Well, for the West's sake, I hope not. I'm sure Topher Foreman and all those guys are great dudes on the East, but I think we all want to see a little bit closer game.
I would agree with that. So they're just going to turn and hand it off to Bodie Dale, but then they will call a timeout. So 20 seconds left after that 4-yard run.
Man, Blake missed the last game where we talked about the biggest comeback in CFSL history. I believe it's still at 29 if memory serves me correctly.
That sounds about right. I know I was on the wrong side of a 24-point comeback at one point, but I think someone's eclipsed that by now.
I remember that game where you had 3 pick sixes in the first quarter and still lost.
And I think 7 total interceptions in that game and still lost. But that was
your rookie season.
That was West Virginia's first year around. We were not very deep, and Oklahoma State took advantage of that in the second half. Hopefully West can find something in the second half as we've hit the halftime break here. East up 38-3. So at least not a shutout here in the first half, Mike, but not a lot going on for the West.
No, not too much going on for the West, but the East is getting a whole lot of everything going on. They're getting in with some sacks. You're seeing quarterbacks scoring touchdowns, quarterbacks throwing touchdowns, quarterbacks making tackles. I mean, you got quarterbacks doing everything in this league. How about some of the other guys not playing quarterback do something, especially on the West? That would be great to see. But East in control of this one, everything working. We got tons of talent on this team, and we might have to think about realigning some of our regions next season, considering the talent disparity that we're seeing right now.
And I mean, there you can see it. The only thing West has got going for them is they haven't turned it over yet. The one turnover on the board is by the East. That was a beautiful play by Kelvin Diggs, intercepting a tipped ball. But again, West, the talent discrepancy, and you mentioned all the players out of position, quarterbacks everywhere that they're not supposed to be, but still trying to hang in there, make something happen. And they're going to have to come out here and play defense to start the second half and see if they can slow down the East here and keep them off the board. But it looks like Dale on the return. It's a big dude running the ball out of the end zone there.
So Frank has an interesting idea as far as if the coaches were able to draft their teams, but then it wouldn't be East versus West because we'd have guys playing everywhere, and you got to get the coaches on and to go through the whole thing. It's an interesting idea. I don't know how viable it would be. I think the biggest thing is we just maybe need to align the regions a little bit differently to balance out the talent a little bit. And I would say, looking at the East, obviously we'd have to shift stuff because we got to go guys from the East to either the North or South, and guys or states from the North or South over to the West. And honestly, Texas used to be in the West, and we were maybe they still are. I guess they still are. And it was still not enough. California, Texas, both in the West, still not enough talent. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean it's a little bit perplexing, I guess, but who knows what the next class will bring. We could completely see this flip in the next season. You never know where the recruits are going to pop up from, and Dale trying to find his way to another first down, can't do it there. So West defense, after all that talking, gets a 3 and out here, and their offense going to get the ball back.
Well, we'll see. A good start to the third quarter. The big thing is, though, is their offense hasn't been able to move the ball very well, mostly because their talent is mostly at running back, and now being down 35, I don't know how they're going to be able to utilize that.
Frank, that team name is blasphemous, almost as blasphemous as Pitt. Please refrain from using Marshall in any CFSL chats, at least until for some odd reason they would get brought into this league. But please, powers that be, don't let that happen.
I feel like we should bring them back and put them in the MAC next season now.
Oh, okay. Well, they deserve to be relegated back to the MAC. As Del Toro completes a pass for a first down there, and West moving it a little bit here to start the drive.
Logan's asking what playbook the West was running. Surprisingly, 3 of the 4 teams run in Missouri tonight. The West is one of them.
Well, they're using it. They're not really running it.
That's true. They picked some plays out of the Missouri playbook. But yeah, it has not been used to its full potential yet, I don't think.
Now Frank is going to continue to run on the Marshall train here, but that's fine. And I won't state that they were actually better than West Virginia this season, for real. So West trying to get something going. 3rd and 5 coming up now. We'll see if they can pick this one up. They're 1 of 10 on the game. And Del Toro, a little bit of time back there, throws it short of the sticks, complete, but not going to get there. De La Rocha picks up 3, and they're going to have to punt it again.
Obi-Wan wants me to get Brett Fink the ball. I'm not playing it. I'm up here in the booth. I'm just watching the coaches. You need to talk to Uncle Tiny about getting you the ball. But that's one thing we haven't talked about. Uncle Tiny, what a job he's got here with putting his team together. I'm sure UNC, as he's an assistant coach at UNC, I'm sure they're happy with how he's been able to put this game plan together.
Yeah, better than they put a game plan together at Tennessee.
Wow.
Sorry, Logan. I couldn't help myself. This one complete outside to Baker Thomas, so the quarterback getting some more work in at wide receiver. 5 catches, 67 yards for him.
So we didn't talk about this yet. Coming into this game, this series was all tied up at 2, and the East is 2-0 when scoring 30+. I have a feeling that's going to go to 3-0.
It looks like it might, and that one, a little bit of a miscommunication there, as I tried to play fake it to Dale, and then I ran into his fullback. I don't know what happened there, but it's 3rd and short. We'll see if they can pick it up here. Man in motion, hand it off to Dale, and why not? When you need inches, just give it to Bodie Dale. Looks like he's going to be the new Notre Dame workhorse for sure, and that's looking good for Wookie and his crew.
Well, he's down to 4.3 average, so that's a little concerning, but also being up this big, they're probably just picking more simple running plays and not trying to break big plays.
And he's got 2 more there, and it was gang tackled. There was a herd of West defenders there to make that stop. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Logan thinks that the success of Uncle Tiny speaks to Logan's teachings at Tennessee.
Sure, Logan.
Is Logan drinking tequila? Because I have firsthand experience when Logan drinks tequila, some weird things flow from his mouth and fingertips.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him, although it is about 11 o'clock on a Wednesday night here on the East Coast. So,
Logan always searching for the win. That for sure you can say that.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So West comes up with another stop. So they're shutting out the East offense here in the second half. I guess that's a plus. 5.5 now to go third quarter. They're getting the ball back, and a good return here from Malik Saint. Weaves his way for 16 yards.
Well, all is not lost yet, but it's getting close. And if you want to have the biggest comeback in CFSL history, much less All-Star Game history, I think you got to shift this thing. You got to downshift into a lower gear. You got to hit the pedal. You got to burn some rubber, and you got to make some things happen.
And not on that play. A big hit there Looks like Pinesaw comes up with it, dislodges the ball. It'll be 2nd down and 10. So 5 receivers set, 3 bunched down here at the bottom of the screen. That's where they'll go, complete and a lot of room to work. 1st down yardage and more inside somewhere. I can't tell, thanks to the ground crew. Ronnie Brooks, good catch and run there. It's a 1st down.
Well, I think that the East was confused at where they were covering because there was nobody within 10 yards on that play. And so lots of open field to pick up that 1st down.
And a lot of that was the seafoam green. I don't what color field is it? There was a lot of some blue in front of him, we'll say.
Seafoam green, huh?
Not to be confused with the blue in Boise.
You've been hanging out at Bath and Body Works, haven't you?
I mean, everyone's got to stop by every once in a while. It smells so good in there. So 2nd down and 2 coming up as Del Toro completes another one on 1st down. Scally with the tackle there. And now 5 wide receivers set. West looking for their 1st touchdown in the ball game, and that's not going to help their cause. In and out of the hands and incomplete.
Debo Banks, Tom Pence, AD at Florida State's watching you right now. If you want to be on the depth chart, you got to hold on to passes like that.
Yeah, Rory, turquoise is what I was trying to come up with. And Marissa didn't teach me that. I learned that on my own. We don't go to Bath and Body Works. She makes her own soaps and candles anyway. It's fine.
Why does that not surprise me?
There's probably a lot that I could tell you about my life that wouldn't surprise you. So 1st and 10 West. That's probably a conversation for off air though. And this is complete. Debo Banks, 9 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 1.
Well, it does bring up a good question. Do you have chickens in your yard?
You really just asked that. Yes, we do. We have 11, 2 roosters, 9 hens. They don't free roam. They do not free roam, but we did turn half of our shed into a chicken coop.
All right. I had the wrong impression. I thought Murph went to Kalamazoo to escape West Virginia. He went to Kalamazoo to bring West Virginia to Michigan. I see what happened there.
You're darn right. Del Toro incomplete there. It's 2nd down and goal coming up. But yeah, we certainly brought the country to Kalamazoo. Although we did find the backwoods, and my daughter wants a pig, so who knows what's on the agenda. It could be coming in the near future, or goats even.
Arnold
that one's thrown out of the back of the end zone.
Are you going to name the pig Arnold?
No, you got to name the pig bacon or pork chop. You have to go traditional there.
Was Arnold? What was the pig from Charlotte's Web?
Wilbur.
Wilbur. That's what I'm thinking of. Who's Arnold the pig?
You're not speaking my language on that one. I've never heard of an Arnold the pig. I don't know. Petticoat Junction. I don't remember that one.
I don't either, but I'm sure I watched it as a kid, and that's where it came from. I just don't remember.
It's buried somewhere in your subconscious. And yeah, Obi-Wan drops "Hey Arnold," and that's what I remember. And Varsity Blues, it was the pig's name was Bacon, wasn't it? Anyway. We've gone off the rails here. Yeah, okay, Rory confirms for me. That's what I thought. And Island, yeah, how many Rhode Island Reds we have? I think 2.
What is a Rhode Island Red?
It's a type of chicken. It's a breed of chicken. We have some.
Let's get way too country in here for me when we're talking about breeds of chickens. Now
he's calling out Marissa. I don't even know if Marissa's got the game on in the background here. Oh, she is watching. Okay. Matt, no, I'm not okay, but I'm not in my parents' basement, so we're doing all right. So 2nd down and 4. There is still a football game going on.
I'm so confused of what's going on right now.
This is what happens when I get wrapped up in chat sometimes. I forget what's going on the left-hand side of my screen here. He's moving the football, picking up a 1st down there.
JCD wants us to roast 14R Davis. And this one's really easy for me considering he just won a custom jersey in the AD poll. but he's too large of a human that I couldn't find a jersey to fit him. So I had to order like 3 pieces of clothing that hopefully you can stitch together and make one thing that fits him.
Did you just get one of like where the parents have 2 kids on different teams and they just stitch it halfway down the middle so it's 2 different colors?
I mean, I should have thought of that, although that wasn't in the budget. So I got like a bunch of blankets, and I'm just going to send it and hope they figure out how to make it into something wearable.
So I don't even know how to follow that up. I'm not even like... we do, again, still have a football game going on here. 2:30 to go here, third quarter. East on the move again out near midfield. I think that's where they put the logo nowadays. And completed over
With
the
this
middle.
ground crew, there's no telling.
Yeah, they could be on the 25. We're not sure. Baker Thomas, another catch for him, his 6th on the night.
Well, Baker Thomas continuing to show that he would be an effective wide receiver if Auburn needs to use him there, though I am very interested to see him at quarterback.
Right. And you know, with Cole's style of offense, he's going to throw it so many times, he might catch one of his own passes at some point this season. And there's a big throw from Topher Foreman right down the seam, and another big play to Baker Thomas, and now the quarterback over 100 yards receiving.
I don't know if we've seen an out-of-position player like that this year yet, have we? Well, I mean, I guess we saw Ware with the 7 tackles and a pick 6 in the last game, but a big game here from Baker Thomas. Of course, you know, he's kind of, I don't know what I'm just going to leave it alone. What I had going just didn't come together, much like this West offense.
Yeah, there's a lot coming. Even words aren't coming together. There's a lot not coming together here at the back half of this broadcast. It is kind of falling off the rails. CFSL After Dark has started early this season. At 2nd down and 4 for the East, thrown over the middle, complete first down again. This is Troy Crozier, 6 yards, his first catch of the ball game, and it's 1st and goal.
Was Devin 14 or Davis even here? Did we just roast somebody that wasn't even here to hear it?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure these guys know how this is supposed to work.
And maybe that's why it's been off for so long. Maybe, but here's another touchdown for the East, and just making it look easy one more time.
Yeah, Baker Thomas could definitely make a living as a wide receiver, and if Auburn, as your good buddy Cole Mantell, who steals half of your award every season, you know, he had big ideas of winning 5 or 6 games last year, and he won 1, and that was in week 1. So if he doesn't do magic with Baker Thomas, you might see Baker Thomas in the transfer portal looking to play wide receiver after this season.
Well, I won't say anything that I shouldn't say, but we do have some wide receivers graduating.
Whoa! Don't get yourself in trouble. That's I don't know. Do we flag him for that? That was. I will
not recruit.
That was borderline against the rules right there.
I know. I don't see Cole messing that up, though. I think he's going to put him to good use this season. Malik Saint looking to be put to some good use tonight. 3 catches, 48 yards, and that one for a first down.
I'm sure Matt Pack will show up and say that Cole's not doing it all alone like he did last night. But considering how often we see Matt Pack, I kind of think Cole is doing it all alone. Although he has Allen out there, too. So he does have some experienced ADs on his team. Ryder Amir is also a former AD, so they've got some coaching talent on that team.
Cole's definitely got some help down there at Auburn, and Cole being at Auburn where he went to school, so it's I expect big things out of Cole down there. Being a little out of place in Washington probably didn't help him out last season.
Venom asking if Allen sims. I'm not sure Allen's run a sim since season 3, maybe season 4. About the last time Clutch ran a sim?
Well, I mean, it didn't turn out too poorly for Clutch last season.
Got to the championship game, now looking to try to get over the hump. And again, talking about that first-round exits for both of those teams, and then both of them getting the championship game, and Oklahoma State beating out Boise. Now Boise, you know, trying to get back in the swing of things as Joshua Sims coming up with a big play.
Yeah, speaking of Sims, there's Joshua Sims, his first catch. Del Toro trying to figure something out, 25 of 42. He'd love to get one in the end zone. And yeah, I mean, Boise State and Oklahoma State last season had great runs. Obviously, Oklahoma State winning the championship, and then they bring in Logan. So I don't know if they really helped their coaching staff there.
Well, and Logan's saying how'd that championship game go? Like, he wasn't even part of it. Why?
Yeah, well, we'll pick this up on the other side of the break. 45-6 East over the West. You're watching the CFSL, presented by PX1 Sports here on Twitch. And we are back. West trying to put together a drive and put one in the end zone here. They're going to go 5 wide to start the fourth quarter. And we'll see what they can come up with. Over the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that one, too much traffic there. And Del Toro's plagued by a little bit of what we saw in the other game by McCade Albert. You know, one of those young guys that just hasn't refined the decision-making yet, although Sims getting going a little bit here. And Logan talking about Oklahoma State winning last year when he wasn't on the team is kind of like drinking a Bud Light and then saying, hey, yeah, it's the king of beers, and I somehow contributed to that. But she didn't.
I mean, he was setting records in Tennessee while that was going on. We'll just put it that way.
Records that will never be broken.
We hope not, anyway. And here goes Del Toro looking to find his way into the end zone, brought down just short after a 5-yard run.
So in my poker career, I learned not to say if something very odd happens, I'm going to do X. I have a bad story, which I'll share with you here in a second. So I don't want to say as Del Toro gets the first touchdown in. Sorry to steal that from you, Nate.
That's all right.
So I was going to say that I don't like to say if something happens. I was going to say if a team loses 24 games in a row again, I'm just going to, like, shut the league down. But I'm like, no, because what if it really does happen? So my famous story, when I was young in my poker career, I was just playing home games and didn't know what I was doing. And so I had the chip lead, and there was like 4 people left, and we only played 3 spots. And I said, if I don't cash, because I had never made the money yet, I was like, if I don't cash now, I'm going to drive my car off the road. And I went bust, and I didn't cash. But as you guys could probably tell, I did not drive my car off the road. I don't know if that makes me a liar or not, but that happened.
Well, I don't have a story to top that one, so
I just learned, I'm like, I shouldn't say if this happens, I'm going to do X, because you never know if such and such happens. Like, I could say if a meteor strikes Earth, I'm going to sit with my family at the table, like, don't look up. But I might not. Who knows?
Interesting, deep thoughts with Jack Handy. As Foreman takes off, picks up 8 on first down.
The wheels have officially come off the bus now.
Yep, we have finally taken that car off road. It just took a while to get there, Mike. And Bodie Dale, 6 yards and a first down for East.
Well, fortunately, it's just now taken to this, because considering the first game was a little lopsided, the wheels could have fell off long before now.
That's true. We did a decent job holding it together for this long, and hopefully we don't have too many of these games during the season. I mean, I'm sure we will have a couple where the wheels kind of come off, especially. I mean,
West Virginia does have 8 games, so there is a possibility.
There is a great possibility that somewhere along the way the wheels come off. Hopefully, because we're on the right side of things for once. Usually when the games aren't very close, we're the ones on the wrong side of things. So.
Oh, Jamison Weinrich has 10 tackles in this game, and this is the first time I think I've called it for actually making a play.
Yeah, we've probably missed 9 others before that. So. But he's quietly having a big night and hit double digits in tackles and doing a good job forcing Baker Thomas back. He caught that near the first down marker. They don't give him forward progress. They're going to mark him down 5 yards short. So a good job by that West defense that time.
I believe this is Elon asking, Elon Olive, Ewo. I believe that's him. It's been a while since I've seen him talk and chat and not be on a call. But he's asking, is there a mercy rule? So, funny enough, after last season, we had some big blowouts, and we talked about a mercy rule, but it never got enough traction, and so most people just want to let it ride. If you get beat 100-0, you get beat 100-0. I don't personally like it, but I'm a man of the people.
Well, hopefully we don't have anything that gets that far out of whack here this year. But, I mean,
well,
these
we
two
got rid of
games,
Tennessee and Nebraska, so our odds are improved.
odds have improved. And but again, you've said it a couple times, West Virginia's still in the league, so anything is possible.
And I have a feeling that Logan's going to take that joke much better than Rory.
Well, if history has anything to say about it, that might be true. So now a screen pass here for West, and that's probably not going to work because not much else has, and it doesn't. Losing 5 yards on that one. And this East defense just all over the place tonight.
They are. I mean, there's just talent all over the place. The one place where they're probably even with the West is on the defensive line. West might even have a slight edge. But everywhere else on the defense, they're really, really stacked. And, again, we've talked about the shortcomings of this offense and a lot of players playing out of position. And, that just plays in to a big showing. And another nice play there, Strawn McAllister coming up with the sack.
His second of the night, and is just play after play. As you mentioned, a lot of guys out of position for West, then that might play into it a little bit, especially the three quarterbacks playing tight end. So in any kind of blocking situation, they're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage here. And West is just kind of taking this one on the chin, but that by no means says that they're not going to have great careers at these schools that they've committed to. And I know the ADs that signed them fully expect them to come out and play some pretty good ball when they get to their CFSL teams.
We've seen a lot of guys that have struggled in these games and then come out and have great careers. There's a lot of names going through my head, so I can't remember some of them specifically, but there's been several quarterbacks that struggled in the Newcomer game and then went on to have lights out careers. So that doesn't mean a lot. And I give Logan and Rory a lot of crap, mostly because they came to hang out, so I was actually get to meet both of them in person. And Rory, I like it just because he's not as his humor isn't the same as Logan's. Logan is, kind of carefree and everything's a joke. Rory is a little bit more serious, which makes me want to pick on him even more. Only because I like him. But the one thing I will say, regardless of the fact that we folded teams, which we folded 8 teams and then brought back 6 MAC teams, so it wasn't anything to do with them. But I will say this, Nick Saban failed miserably with the Dolphins, and look what he turned out to be. So as long as you don't quit, your future isn't written. More deep thoughts by Jack Andy.
Deep thoughts by Jack Andy.
I promise I haven't had a gummy either. These are just these are free flowing.
It's just flowing. I like it. So 4:44 to go here in the ball game. West going to get it back. Good job by the defense, not giving up anything else there. And actually, I think 3 seasons ago now, or I guess more than that, 4 seasons ago now, I had Kyshawn Williams on one of these Newcomer game teams. I didn't start him. I had 2 quarterbacks on the roster. I didn't start him, and he goes out and wins back-to-back CFSL championships, the first 2 or the first back-to-back in history. So even guys that are sitting on the bottom of the depth charts that we're not seeing tonight, you just never know what they're capable of. And Wookie went out and did wonderful things with Kyshawn Williams. So,
look, I'll be the first to admit that I've failed as much as anybody. Anybody's been around here any length of time has seen it. We're still kicking. So, again, as long as you don't quit, your future has not been written.
So we'll see the guys on this West squad for sure bounce back when things get rolling. January 2nd, we're going to keep pounding that in your head here the last 4 minutes of the ball game, and I'm sure nobody in Discord is going to let you forget either. That'll be rolling around here before we know it. I can't wait to get that kicked off. We already talked about it. It's Florida State and Michigan kicking things off for us on the 2nd.
That's going to be a big one. I'm excited for that one. Now you got me thinking about the schedule. I got to go find the other game that's kicking us off. Kentucky and Boise.
Yep,
Kentucky and Boise. That one's going to be a great game. 2 national title contenders, you would think, in Kentucky and Boise. Michigan, we expect to be, but, new coach, it's hard to say for certain. I think we all expect with the pedigree that Ike got from Florida State that he's going to come out and especially joining the team that's already got a championship pedigree. They've been in the playoffs. I think that's going to be a great game, but it's a big proving point, a big opportunity to prove himself early on in that one and really send a statement to the league. And then Boise, obviously, coming off of the loss in the championship game, they want to turn things around and get off to a good start. In Kentucky, they just want to let everybody know, like, hey, we made the playoffs the last couple of years. We're in there. We haven't got to the championship game yet, but don't forget about it. So I think excellent games coming up on January 2nd and a great way to kick off the season.
And it was Boise that actually ended Kentucky's run last season towards the championship game on their way to the title game. So Kentucky will be looking to exact a little bit of revenge when the season opens up. And the West defense, again, making a couple of plays, not giving up anything here. So under 3.5 to go, and their defense finally kind of stepping up and keeping East at bay a little bit.
Well, you can't quit, right? Now, unfortunately for the West, I think their future has been written because there's not much future left in a tying ball game. But you don't want to quit. You want to keep coming out. Like we said in the last game, you want to try to end with some momentum. You want to send these guys out with some positive momentum going back to their teams, heading into preseason camp as they start working for the regular season. And, if nothing else, I think we're seeing that out of all these guys. They just keep going out there trying to do what they can, and that's the fighting spirit that you see week in and week out in this league.
And Del Toro hasn't had the best game, and McAllister, a big sack here, his 3rd on the night. So really, all 3 of McAllister's plays been sacks. The tackle for loss, and the sack all in one play. So a big night.
But he doesn't have 9 sacks in a game, though.
He doesn't have 9 sacks in a game, and that was one of the craziest things I think I've seen since becoming a broadcaster here.
Owen Britt last night had 9 sacks in the Army-Navy game and lost. Wait, was it the Army-Navy game or was it the senior game? It was a senior game.
It was the senior game.
9 sacks in the senior game, excuse me. Wait. Now I'm confused at what happened. He was on the team that lost, right? Yes, because he was getting all the pressure. He was on the East. The West couldn't do anything on offense, and he got 9 sacks in that game, and that team led all but 6 seconds, and those are the most important 6 seconds of the game.
South had a total of 12 sacks, Logan said, and 9 of them came from wait.
It was East-West.
Yeah, that was East-West. So
Logan doesn't even know what
there he goes.
game he was
now
in.
he's correcting himself. So they had 12 sacks. 9 of them came from Owen Britt, and they lose that ball game. That was crazy.
That was one of the crazier endings that we've seen. Me and Frosty both jumped out of our seats watching that game last night. So if you guys didn't stick around for the end of that one, you definitely missed it.
Yeah, you'll have to go find it and take a look. At least watch the last quarter of that ball game.
Well, it's definitely on our archive right now. Our archives, I think, are like 30 or 60 days. So it'll be there for a while. So you guys can definitely go back and watch that.
Yeah, go check it out. It was a crazy ending. I was told that I was being a little bit loud as that game ended.
Well, you're supposed to be.
I know, but the poor kids. I'm sure.
They know what they signed up for when they chose to leave the loins of the co-broadcaster of the year.
That's right. Yeah, I'm trying to win my own trophy. Silence will not be so golden here for the next 8+ weeks as the season starts to roll around. The East is going to be golden here tonight as they're going to finish this one off as James Braxton, his third carry of the night, 11 total yards. And Mike, that is finally going to wrap this thing up. We didn't see the number of points that we saw out of the South from the East, but 45-13, a big night for this East Newcomer team.
Well, a win for the West also, as they tied the North from season 11 for the fewest points scored. So they didn't have it by themselves. So they at least got to that 13 number. Great game by the East. So many big players on that. Topher Foreman, Baker Thomas probably lead the way there. Strawn McAllister had a huge game also. Great showing all around. But now it's over. We got an idea of what these guys could do. Now we wait till January 2nd and we see what they can do for real.
And that we're all looking forward to for sure. And with that, I'd like to say thank you to our executive producer, Austin Crow, our executive producer, and my broadcast partner tonight, Mike Peters, for tonight's action. And on behalf of our entire broadcast crew, I'm Nate Murphy, and you've been watching the CFSL presented by PX1 Sports right here on Twitch. All-Star Week is drawn to a close, and I would like to wish everyone a happy holidays, but be sure to mark your calendars. As we've said a few times here tonight, January 2nd, the official kickoff to season 16. We start things off with student versus teacher as Michigan travels to plays Florida State at a neutral site in that one. So good night, everyone. We'll see you then.
Merry Christmas.